Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're watching Severance. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're watching episode 3 of Severance. The last episode, I feel like we're getting deeper into the severed floor, and we're learning information, but like not the information that I think we want, which I want to know what the hell they're doing on this floor. Like what does it all mean? But yeah, I'll start again with Irv, probably like my favorite character thus far on the show. Him falling asleep, which is a complete no-no. But you kind of started to see like a melting into reality a little bit. And I don't know if that was in his, I mean, obviously it was in his brain, but I don't know if that's like something that's hurting him. Like if he's physically like having like a little mini stroke. I don't know if it's causing damage for him, or if it is kind of like moving your consciousness from one place to another. I'm not sure, or like that's the blending of the two. I would hope that like if you fell asleep that you didn't like die. I would hope that like if you fell asleep and you went into like a dream sequence, that you would be able to see a little bit of your outside life a little bit and kind of have an idea of who you are out there and why you come to the severed floor every single day for work. Now, we saw him go to a wellness checkup, and that checkup was not about wellness. Not one bit. Not even a little. No, it was definitely not about his overall wellness. I feel like it's about control. Like there was the painting that you're coming in the waiting room, and that was definitely about subjugation. Like that was 100% like, I am in control. Crack the whip. But then when he's in his wellness procedure or therapy, anytime that she's reading off like any of these like plain, just basic things of like, you're a great dancer and everyone thinks so, all that. Anytime that he had an emotional response, they docked points from him. And then eventually when you get to the no points, your wellness thing is over. So essentially it's like kind of teaching you to like not have feelings, to not have an emotional response to things, right? But then you see like the rewards they get are like the finger traps and the erasers. So it's like controlled in that sense that like they can limit your response to things that could possibly make you happy. Like they offer raisins. Yes, they have a taste. It's not good. Just like the melon. Like, well, we're gonna have a melon party. Like the boringest fruit in the world is the one that you have at the party. Like where's the kiwi? Like give us some dragon fruit. Like all the pizzazz and the wow that comes with a lot of those fruits, and they picked the most boring one. And again, I think it's about control, and it's about controlling stimulation, and the more controlled everything is, whether it's the colors, whether it's the aesthetic, the lines of everything being in the center, you don't have a ton of shit to look at. Like there's not paintings and pictures everywhere, but the ones that are very much trying to like get into your subconscious and like kind of control you there, whether it's the painting or it's the writing things that are in the wellness thing behind Irv. But I definitely think that like what they do want you to be stimulated by is the computers and the numbers, because like Helly having that response when she sees a 5 and she's like, yeah, that was terrifying. I feel like if that's like the only time that you get like a hit of emotions when you're on this floor, you're going to really want to do the job. And I think Dylan's kind of like that, where like he's getting the rewards. Like not only is he getting the hits from kind of filing everything away, but then he's got the drawer full of caricatures. So he's like the perfect example of like how that stuff works on somebody reward wise. And I don't know what Mark's like glass head thing is about. Like that wasn't a reward. That's just something they gave him. Was Mark having a hard time? Did they want Mark to feel special because he wasn't feeling special, or he was like, did he like write a letter of like resignation or whatever it is to get out of the severed floor? It feels like a ward. It definitely feels like an institution in which you go when you lose your mind. But like what is that about? And where did Petey hide the map to the severed floor? I'm guessing that it's the pictures, but then I'm also wondering how he even got that information out of the severed floor. Like Like, was it like every time he's just like an L? And then when he gets out, he's like, why is there an L in my finger? And then he writes it down and then he's able to like trace out like the severed floor. Like, does he remember what he was doing with that? And then I'd also like to know about Mark's break room experience after he kind of like was like, oh, it's my fault that Helly did this thing. Like, take me instead, because like the hallway and like the narrowness of it, and like it was like doom and gloom, and it was just enough space for the door. And then you see Mrs. Is it Cobble? Cobble? Damn it. Selvig. It's Miss Selvig. They need to like really use her name, like so it like gets locked in here. I also felt like Helly and Milchek knew each other. I mean, honestly, I mean, obviously they knew each other before going in, but I feel like they had a deeper relationship. It wasn't just like she worked at Lumen and he worked at Lumen and she decided to do this thing. I feel like there was like kind of a more intimate relationship there, especially with the flowers after her first day. And then he kept kind of stressing like how exciting it was for her to be there, and so she seems like really important. And I don't know why. And also, she didn't remember Mr. Edgar's breakfast. And I had a visceral response to that when they said what his breakfast was, and I still didn't remember even after I had that experience. I was just like, oh yeah, that was part of her questioning. Delaware. I remember Delaware. That's all I remember. Now we also met Bert, who is the I don't know if he's the head, but he's from optics and design. And he has this great run-in with Irv, and I love like how they have the conversation about the painting and where it was from originally. And it seemed like kind of like the two old guys that talk to each other at their appointments, but I feel like they might know each other on the outside or have known each other at some point. I don't think that they would necessarily allow them to have that run-in, so I don't know if that was an accident. But Dylan knew who Bert was, and he calls him a fuck and then is worried about Irv jeopardizing the safety of their program, which I think is really interesting. And like anytime they start talking about something that I'm just like, this is information I need, like all of a sudden Helly's afraid of numbers, or like Helly and Dylan are having a conversation about like some freshman thing that happened to Mark, and all of a sudden Irv is having a meltdown, like literal meltdown. So it's just like we miss all of these conversations, and I'm like, no, I need that info. And then like the thing with like the code detectors and running onto the elevator, like I don't know if they're real. I don't know if that's a real thing or not. I feel like with Helly, like her like making a show of writing it down and showing the note and running down the hallway, it was like enough for anyone who's watching on the cameras to be like alert. But like if they don't know that you're doing it, or they don't see it, or you're sly enough to get away with it, then like maybe it's easier to get something onto the elevator, and that like the code detectors really don't exist. Like I said, like they can trigger your implant in your brain, so I don't know why they wouldn't be able to exist, but I'm just like, information has gotten in and out. Like Petey had a cassette tape of him in the break room. Like, how did that get out? How did he bring a recorder in? How did he get that back out? Like, so like there's definitely loopholes to this whole thing. And then I was thinking about Irv too, with the ink or whatever it was that was on his fingers, under his fingernails. And like Irv is like very much somebody who follows the rules and is very like, no. In subsection B of rule A21, like, but then he's like got like dirty fingers. And so I'm wondering who Irv is on the outside. I'm thinking he's vastly different than the Irv that we know on the inside. Which is fine, because I'd like to see what Irv's gone through. I'm very concerned with Irv. I'm very attached to Irv. Nothing needs to happen to Irv except freedom and bliss. That's what I want for my Irving. And then Mark has Petey at his house, who I hope is still alive after his brain kind of went through a melt in the shower. It seemed like he was flashing back and forth between, the outie and the innie world. And I still wonder, like, if he still has the implant in his head and if it still fires on occasion, or like, what would happen if he went down the elevator to the severed floor? Would it trigger back on, or is it gone? So like, those are just like questions I have about Petey, but I also don't know if Petey's still alive. He could just be dead inside Mark's house, and now Mark has a dead body in there. Yikes. And then also, Mark has the flyer to, the Free the Severed. uh Severance is bad, Severance is subjugation, Severance is evil. Like, does that flyer make its way onto the severed floor? Like, they had like their little meeting in like the supply closet, like him and Helly, and like it wasn't about anything in particular, but like they had a conversation there, and that's where he hid the photos. And I'm wondering, do they have cameras in there? Do they have them everywhere? Is it like the Truman Show, where like literally they're everywhere? Because we saw it in the wellness thing for Irv, how there's like the little camera that was in the centerpiece. So I mean, is there like are they everywhere? Is that because that's really creepy? But like then I really have to tip my hat to Petey for getting out all the information that he did. Okay, guys. Whew. I'm really excited to get into this episode. I'm really loving this. All the questions that I have after and all like the stimulation I get from it when I'm watching it, whether it is acting like Milchek. I think his name's Tillman. Like the great actor, creepy fucking smile. And he like just like knows how to just play that so well. Patricia Arquette, of course, we know is just stone cold killer. She's good at everything that she does. But I'm really enjoying our group. But I would like to see more of Bert. I'd like to see more of Irving and Bert together. I would like to figure out Mark, what's going on with Gemma. Maybe his sister's in this. I don't need more of her husband. He's weird. But let's figure out this map. Where is it? How do we get to it? What happened in the break room? Is there going to be another wellness check? Is there other areas of this floor that I would enjoy? And by enjoy, I mean either be terrified of, intrigued by, or mystified by. You know how it goes. Okay, guys. Let's get into it. Did we get the twisted beginning again? That was really interesting.
Petey, you okay? Petey?
Please don't be dead.
Yeah, I'm good. I just slipped.
The neighborhood never really filled up, so it's nice. Quiet.
On purpose, I'm sure.
Fortress of Solitude.
That's what I call my
An
house.
occasional mixer wouldn't hurt anything. I checked, and it's not expressly prohibited in the manual.
Yeah, I bet. Dude, I pressed Cobell for an off-floor mixer last quarter.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Loved that so much.
I get disoriented. It's temporary.
I don't think that's a disorientation.
What's Sunset Park?
I don't know.
I want him to remember more of the severed floor and say it out loud. Here it comes. It's really interesting to see him like in pajamas, but then he has his badge on. It's really interesting too that it's pajamas and they're very focused on sleep, like that he's in a bed. So like what happens when he sleeps? Do they do a group nap? That would be weird. I still love it. I love every bit of that. But I feel like that's how I feel watching that beginning is how they feel when they see fives.
My first day at Lumen's as far back as my 5th birthday, and with 2 pass, it blurs the present too. But they said it would get better.
Hopefully. They don't know.
Who's they?
Yes.
Not the fucking WMC.
Oh.
Someone else.
Right.
Bigger.
Well, so, what do you want from me?
Blow it up from the inside out.
Don't you want to know what you're doing down there?
I want to know.
You know, it hasn't been a blight for me. It's helped me.
No, okay.
What if the cost of that help is that you're murdering people 8 hours a day and you don't even know it?
I didn't even think of that.
Look, I found a department, one they don't tell us about, one where you don't get to leave.
Well, don't none of us get to leave?
You really don't get to leave, as in they're down there right now.
What, like chained up or?
Subjugation.
Petey, we're not at Lumen.
Kinda you are.
Where the fuck is June?
Who's June?
Who's June?
June is my daughter. Greatest kid on earth and a hell of a guitar player.
They didn't take her, right? Does she even care for real?
I think it's exactly the condescending verbiage that I'd expect from a group trying to save people from their own choices.
Choices. Did her Inzi have a choice?
Inzy, and where are you getting these terms?
Fine, call it someone who's had their brain split in half.
What's immoral is taking away.
I mean, it is a choice. That's as far as I know. I hope nobody's being forced or situations aren't being manipulated to cause them to go into it. Yeah, are there any other people living on that street?
Wake up, Petey.
Please don't be dead. So worried about him not being alive.
I'm not gonna reintegrate, you know.
Okay.
Okay.
I lost my wife a couple years ago in a car accident. This is, it's helping me.
I'm sorry, Mark.
No.
You would come in sometimes with red eyes.
Yeah.
We had a joke that you had an elevator allergy. There's even a song for it.
They made up a song for it.
You carry the hurt with you. You feel it down there, too. You just don't know what it is.
I should be back around 6.
I literally see no cars anywhere else.
I'm just de-icing my stew.
Oh, thanks again for the cookies.
I'll bring by more.
Please.
Her cookies looked awful. So I wonder if Petey would recognize her and remember her. But what did that scan for? Was it weapons? Words? Scary numbers?
I put in my resignation request.
You did submit it.
I did.
It's not going to go through.
Oh, sure.
Morning
Should be
announcements?
easier without me in the audience.
Mark used to find it funny to interrupt Petey's announcements with gas having.
Okay, quiet down all. I'm Mark, your new announcements person.
Making him feel good about it, right? It's a big deal.
Post-it notes are not to be put on faces. They clog your outies' pores.
That one's about me. I do this beloved character, Sticky Head.
Also, please refrain from boasting about previously earned waffle parties.
Feeling attacked?
Oh,
And lastly,
Do I have to finish out the day or can I skip out now?
denied.
Helly's resignation request was denied.
My Audi wouldn't do that.
Does the Audi actually get to decide?
Shall I, tiptoe up and sneak to the door?
He's at work, baby. It doesn't matter.
How do you know? Against the door or to the side?
I think
Dude.
Ivor's really good.
Do you think he'll be surprised?
I do.
A baby crib, a race car, queen size, king size, to the door, on the side of the door, on the steps. Jesus. This guy. He's sweet, but I just want to clock him.
Perfect.
Good.
I mean, it's perfect.
Yes.
I'm so mean to him. He drives me crazy.
He's gonna be so excited.
He's such a small part of the
I hope
show,
he comes home
too.
early.
He's not going to.
Yeah, there's no such thing as coming home early from the severed floor. I don't like that she has a direct path right over to his house.
Hey, what's that,
Whoa.
Sudoku?
It's nothing.
Okay, 2 things. How do
I
you know
love
what
this.
cubist form is? And what the fuck are you wearing?
I love this. I love this. She has a key. Oh my god. I wonder if he sees her, if it'll trigger something in his mind. would she take that? Hide, 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 hide.
Did you give her directed praise?
I hate that we don't get to hear those conversations. It's driving me crazy. So hopefully he remembers her, remembers who she is, and then is able to tell Mark, and then warn Mark about Miss Selvig. It seems like she cares about Mark, but I don't know if that's because, like, she's watching him or what.
I'm fine.
I mean, it's been like 45 minutes.
She's upset. She wants to go home, never to come back.
I think I need to come in. That's okay?
No.
I am going to come in, so get...
Random thought, like, what if you had your period? That would be a good way to keep track of time, wouldn't it?
Writing the note directly on your skin. Well,
I
unfortunately,
thought that.
the detectors can pick up lettering anywhere.
Does this look like lettering to you?
If you put your arms together. Huh, not bad.
I love it.
Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes to scrub your arms.
Or what?
Break room.
You want Grainer to use the bad soap.
Bat soap.
I am troubled by you having high-stress exchanges like that so fresh off your food poisoning.
It's fine.
The loathing with which she spoke to you. If it's a deeper meaning she craves, she should see the Perpetuity wing.
Yeah, let's see the Perpetuity wing.
Oh, God.
Is this the brother-in-law?
Ricken, his 5th book.
Chapter 12. On learning to be emotionally nude in front of my wife.
Looking for messages.
Does she have a moment?
Did you fill out an official request for supervisory interaction?
Ooh, Milchek just fucking changes.
If Petey were the tone setter you're lionizing him as, he'd still be here.
There.
What does that mean?
Now you're gonna make me throw my mug at you.
Is that a thing? Does she do that?
Get MDR to its numbers.
Okay.
Mark,
Bitch.
what I just did was something I knew that you could handle and grow from. It was very painful for me. I hope that you'll let it help you.
Painful my ass. Exactly, Mark.
Open or closed?
Both.
Not the answer I expected, but I enjoyed it.
I'm sorry, do you know how much muscle shows pay? No, none of us can know that.
For gold, silver, and bronze?
No.
Helly's gonna do all the work for me so I can figure out how we get these notes out. Is she going to swallow it?
Thirsty?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just in case you find this relevant for some reason, the code detectors can read messages hidden inside the body as well.
Do we know that for sure?
Also,
Try it, Helly.
when that happens, it's Milchek's job to extract the message from you. It's
Everyone's
easier for
done
you
it
both
then.
if he knows which end to start from.
But how? How did the tape get out? How did Petey get that tape?
Egan
To
Bingo.
be reverent
Hey,
and quite
Egan Bingo.
Oh,
We should, right? And come on, it'll be an excellent opportunity for everyone except Herb to bond.
That's not the point. Hey. What's up, friend?
Optics and design.
Back with that refinement.
Do they have to fight now?
So exciting.
Thanks for the tip. You got some business? Or you just out for a fucking stroll?
Dylan.
What? Just
Jesus, Dylan.
We should get back. Can't leave the nest empty.
Good to see you, O&D.
those eggs look like shit.
Dylan.
Irving, come on.
I totally thought it was like they're gonna break out switchblades and start having a fight in the hallway.
Natalie.
Harmony, hello. No, this is about Peter Kilmer, and I should tell you that the board is joining us.
Oh. Okay, so it looks like Hobel has a higher up.
The board would like you to speak first.
Oh, yes, of course. Salutations.
The board is conveying pretty strongly that the severance procedure is provenly irreversible.
Yes.
And that this knowledge should be a given for a person managing a severed floor.
And for what it's worth,
The board has concluded the call.
So she's not as high up as I thought she was.
How many departments are there?
Probably
Around
30.
5.
No one's quite sure.
O&D tried a violent coup on the others decades ago, and that's why they reduced them down to 2, and that's why they keep us all so far apart now.
That's an
A
absolute
violent
fiction.
coup.
Did they ever kill anyone?
There was no coup. No one killed anyone.
Then why don't we ever hang out?
Right?
I mean, I'm 99% sure there was no coup.
Like, I'm imagining them rounding a corner and we're all blood-soaked and I'm wearing your face and they're like, whose face is
Jesus,
that?
Helly.
And I'm like, the last person who fucked with us. And that's just feeling like a really powerful image to me.
Just seems like they'd recognize my face. Maybe if you wore it inside out.
There you go. I like the twisted minds that they have. I don't know why, I just got like stressed. That was a really long hallway to get there as well. Is that Kier? Or Egan? Oh, Kier Egan and James Egan? Are there 2 Egans?
That's James Egan, current CEO.
James.
Remarkable man.
Handsome, too. See those brows?
It's a lot of them there. Helly's look of amusement. That's me. All of a sudden it's like a Disney animatronic and just comes to life. So who's Kier? This set design is insane. I love it so much.
I have identified 4 components, which I call tempers. Woe, frolic, dread, malice.
I learned that I work for a company that has been actively caring for mankind since 1866.
I feel like I'm at work right now.
They update the mouth wall?
It's not called the mouth wall.
Damn, they took down the chick I like. You guys ready to go?
We just got here. She hasn't even seen
Dylan.
the Kia part yet.
Yeah, I want to see the Kier part. I'm horrified by all of this, and I definitely am. See, that Gearhart looks like Petey. That's so weird. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, or if I'm just trying to see things.
Jesus.
No, Kia.
It's his house?
A perfect replica.
This shot, like straightforward, like I just can't rave enough about like how they designed this show. So much symmetry everywhere in the severed world.
I hate this place. It smells like 19th century ass.
Stop treating this like some kind of beer party.
That's not fair. Up till now, I've been reverent as shit.
What's that in your pocket, Mark?
Bingo.
Oh, God, Mark. Still.
The disdain.
I didn't want to be department chief. I didn't ask for Petey to disappear and for...
Disappear. Speaking of disappear, oh my
Helly.
God, where'd you go?
Uh-oh.
Helly getting into trouble. That's our girl.
Wait!
Jesus.
Why are you reading it, Milchek?
Helly!
This way, please, Helior.
It was intense. It's a break room. Yeah.
On you go.
Oh, good. We get to see her session. Maybe. Oh, God. Please don't end the episode without showing me what's happening here. I'm so nervous for her. Okay, that's the tape that Petey got was from that recorder, so he didn't smuggle a recorder down.
Read it.
This design is amazing.
No. Do.
What if she doesn't?
Forgive me for the harm I have caused this world. None may atone for my actions but me. I am thankful to have been caught, my fall cut short by those with wizened hands. All I can be is sorry, and that is all I am.
I'm afraid you don't mean it.
Shot.
You want me to get these?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that was delicious. I love the way this is filmed. I really do. And you have to switch out the photos. I cannot read that map at all. Petey, are you okay?
How many tokens? I can't even know tokens.
Poor Petey. I don't know how he gets back to Mark. Oh, Mark had an instinct.
He's down. Whoa. Sir, it's over here. Hey. Get him on board.
It sucks because I don't know what happens to Petey if he goes into the hospital. Like, they could put him in a psych ward. Lumen could get back a hold of him. Did he leave his phone there? Great shot. Copel goes back in there. She's going to see Gemma's crafts on top of that. Oh, Petey's phone. Did it say blocked? Ben Stiller. Okay, so reintegration doesn't seem like a fantastic idea, but being severed also doesn't seem like a fantastic idea. Helly really trying to escape and like really tell herself on the outside how horrible being severed is. I don't think that like when you put in for like a resignation that like they actually consult your outer self. Like they never consult your outer self. Let's face it. No one gets to just leave. Again, like I don't know what happened with Carol D. Again, I wonder if something that from the outside that could be a problem on the inside. Let's say you get pregnant or something. But also like it seems like you can't keep track of time. And like I was just like wondering, like I was just like, well, what if you're in your period? Because like you could have like several days in which you could track. I don't know. Because like there's not really a concept of time when you are in severed floor. I keep calling it a ward because it feels like it is a psych ward. Especially the Perpetuity wing. Now, it seems like Irv really, like, again, he's a guy that loves structure. He loves rules. And I think also he's somebody who deeply wants to believe in the cause, especially that, like, all the Egans that have existed over time. Now I know that, like, they're 100% a cult. They had all of, like, their wax figures, and just, I keep saying that the one that was, I think it was Gerhardt, looked like Petey. I don't even know if that's true. I think I'm just trying to find, like, clues for stuff or whatever, but that is a creepy wing. Super creepy. Although I liked it too, because a lot of the times you see a lot of symmetry shots, and like the shots going down the stairs, but the overhead shot of, like, all the figures, it kind of, like, made them look like miniatures a little bit, like however they do that with the lenses. I really, really, really dig that. The shots when Helly is in the break room and the words are being projected on her, but also on the screen in front of her, and the light that's happening in there. I love how they play with light and darkness in this show. Because, like, even when Mark, like, when Dylan turns off the lights and Mark just has the light from his, like, little head thing just glowing and everything, I think that that's, like, just, like, really perfect. And I knew the map was on the back of the photos. I knew it. So proud of myself. Although I feel like if you take all the information you have and reduce it down, that was really the only option of where it could have been. So I'm not a genius. It was slightly predictable, I guess. Now, definitely the journey to the Perpetuity wing, that was a long hallway. I need to, like, get, like, a picture of the map and, like, see if PD drew that in there or not. But, like, that seems like it's definitely a field trip. Like, it seemed like you had to go on a journey to get there. And then I don't really know the purpose of it. I mean, yes, to explain the history of Lumen and the Egans, but I don't know. Like, when the little wax figures are talking, they're, like, repeating words, and I don't know if that's also, like, part of, like, trying to get your brain to latch on to certain things, and I don't want to say, like, a hypnosis, but, you know, it's just really creepy and really weird. But on the way to the Perpetuity wing, we run into Bert and his friend, coworker. Apparently there's only two in optics in design, and apparently a coup had occurred. And I don't know if that is rumor, if that is truth, if they, like, really did try to, like, bust everybody out of there, or, like, what was really happening. I loved the idea of, like, these subsect groups fighting with each other, but I also think that, like, they might keep the rumors going so they do stay separated, and they don't work together, because I feel like the more people that, like, kind of get onto, like, the severed floor is bad, eventually they would be overrun and shenanigans, you know, would be afoot. Ooh. But I really did think that they were probably going to get into a fight in the hallway, because especially Dylan, he gets riled. He gets so riled up. But I love Bert and I love Irv, and I love, like, the little weirdness that they have with each other. Like, they're very intrigued with each other. I dig it. I dig it a lot. But then, like, Dylan just, like, picking fights, and just the way he, like, would speak to them, and the way he speaks in general is a bit harsh. But I like it because it's very real. Like, somebody having an attitude like that while they're there. I wonder if he's like that in his outie form, or if this is just the way Dylan is when he's at work. Maybe he doesn't, like, stick up for anything on the outside, or maybe he does, and, like, this is him bleeding over into work. That would be really interesting. I'd like to see Dylan on the outside. Now, I love the shots and just the way that they filmed when Petey would have, like, memories of the severed floor, like them sitting at the cubicles and back and forth, but it was very much, you know, the shots of Mark was Mark's basement, and the shots of Petey was the severed floor. And then as soon as Petey was in his bathrobe, you know, that's when it kind of all broke apart. It's really interesting how he's remembering them and they're blending together and blurring a little bit. And I feel like that's, like, brain damage, unfortunately. Now, him, like, kind of, like, making his way all the way, like, across the bridge into a store and all of that, like, was him like walking all that way, him walking on the severed floor and like trying to make his way out. And then because when he gets to the store, he's like I need tokens in order to eat. So obviously he's seeing something else than what's in front of him. And then when he sees Mark, you know, he kind of collapses, and I don't know if that like snapped him out of it, because then there was something that was like that bonded those two worlds together again, and that's what kind of like made him just be like, and I can relax. But I don't know what happens to Petey. Like, does he go to a hospital? Does he go to a psych ward? Like, does Lumen get him and like wheel him into the place where people never get to leave? When Mark brought that up, like, that's terrifying that you never, or no, Petey brought it up to Mark that you never get to leave ever. Like, it's not just your mind just always remains here because that's when you come to work, but like you never leave. Now, Mrs. Selvig / Coble, like, her not being kind of like the head person in charge, it was actually really refreshing because it seems like her ass is on the line too, but she's not severed. And I don't know why they choose to keep some people severed and some people not. Like Milchek, like, obviously knows who Helly is on the outside because he brought her flowers and they had the conversation as they're walking before they get on the severed floor. You know, so obviously he's not severed. Or if he is, like, it's really weird that he's the same way with her until she was bad and had to go to the break room. But the chick that was talking to the board through her earpiece, and it's really weird that like they make them speak through the speaker, but the speaker doesn't speak back, and that they can't have a back and forth conversation. It's just a relay of information. And like that there's no like not like fighting, but you can't like speak your own piece, you know, like you can't say like if you have a grievance, you don't get to air that to them. Like they did not care that Harmony had something she needed to say. Harmony Coble. I have to remember that because I keep wanting to call her Miss Selvig. But it was really also interesting that when she is like eating the cookies in front of the window, like looking in on Mark, like she seems concerned about him, but I don't know if that's like true or not. Because like throwing the mug at him and just being like, that hurt me. Like I feel like it hurt her more to like watch him through the window. And then her being able to get into his house and take that book, like obviously like Devin and Ricken are going to ask about the book. And then when Mark says, I never got it, like, they're going to be like, well, we dropped it off to you. And then you see Milchek reading it and then leaving it on the chair. I don't know if that's where it is now. And like, that's where he left it and somebody's going to find it. That'd be really funny if they all just started like following, all hail Ricken. This guy that wrote this book is a genius. That would be awful. I don't hate Ricken, but I'm just like, you drive me crazy. The way that he behaves and carries himself and the way he speaks and everything, I'm just like when he's like, should I leave it up against the door, up against the wall? Just fucking do it already. God, shut up. But I want to know dinner party again, because like as much as those people like drive me nuts, I also genuinely like it. One, it makes me feel a lot better about myself, but two, it like just like shows that like where it's like really weird that there's a severed like world where people are choosing to be severed. There are like people that like exist that aren't severed, that are just weird and out there and quirky and have different ways of thinking, like that are like, it's not even intelligent. It's just something. It's something. But I enjoy like that in the show, to where you have something that's very like crisp and controlled, and then this wacky shit that's happening over here. Like I said, like the severed floor seems to be very symmetric, and a lot of the shots are very symmetrical, and like, you know, the doorways, the openings are always in the middle of the screen that I've noticed. And there's nothing that's like skewed, but then you see like Petey, you're like walking up the winding road, and it's very windy and twisty. The place where Mark lives, it's very like windy and twisty. So it's not symmetric. It's very skewed, just like regular life is. So I genuinely like that they have like those two worlds that they're presenting. It's wonderful. I love it. The sound design too in this one was really good too. Just with like the music stopping right off the elevator, I think is great. Just there's other instances too, like even the shot in the TV, where Mark like put everything away and then like, you know, walks away and there's the reflection of the TV. Like I love stuff like that. Like it's such a creative choice. I'm very proud of Ben Stiller. Like I know Ben Stiller has been around movies and television, like his whole life, with like his parents and like with him being in movies. And I shouldn't be shocked that he knows how to shoot something like this, but I mean, I would not have thought this would have been the thing that Ben Stiller would have directed. Like definitely a comedy or something wacky or out there. And like this is very wacky and out there. Just it is not a comedy. It is not. There's comedic points that I don't think are meant to be funny, but we find them funny. They're actually more uncomfortable than anything. But he's really found a way of shooting something that brings a discomfort and it's unsettling, but at the same time is very satisfying. I don't know, like, is that the feeling you guys get when you watch it? Because that's how I feel. Now, okay, so the code detectors. I still don't know if the code detectors can detect it or if they've just been told, but her wanting to swallow the little thing and then Milchek having to retrieve it, I'd try it just in case. It might be miserable. It might suck having to go through it, but at least you'd actually know that the code detectors do exist. Her writing the message and then having it on like both of her arms, like so smart, so smart. I mean, I was thinking those things in the last episode and then they're like trying them and I'm like, oh. But I still don't know how Petey got the tape out or if somebody else got the tape and gave it to Petey to listen to. I don't know how that works. I still think Carol D is important somehow. I don't know if there's somebody that's on the inside of Lumen that like is helping them to try to like stop Lumen from severing people. I don't know, like the news thing, like it seems like there is quite a divide on whether or not it is considered humane, whether it is forced upon people. And that it was the same person, I forget the girl's name, but the black girl with the really pretty hair with like kind of like the creepy Milchek smile where she's just like, the board's waiting on you, just like, creep. But like her, like, having to like dodge questions and fight the fight for Lumen and everything like it's very, very interesting. I'm also wondering, like, because of where the stairwell was that Helly broke into, she cut her arm, but I feel like she dropped her bingo paper that had the thing like, I don't want to be here. Don't come back here, I think is actually what it said. What happens with that now? Like, where is that? Like, how do we get to that stairwell for her to see it? Or like, is Milchek actually severed and he sees it and he's like, what's this? And he takes it home. Or I don't know. How do we get that piece of paper back? I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way that you could like smuggle things. I'm like, a QR code. It's not words, but then they don't have smartphones. They have flip phones. Actually really annoyed right now that I can't figure it out. I love that. I love when something's smarter than me. I really do. I really do. I'm not one of those people that feels stupid. I'm one of those people that feels like I'm challenged and I'm like, I must figure this out. Like it's just going to be me and like the Charlie Day picture of like everything like threaded together and pictures and writing and completely like psychotic look on my face trying to figure the show out. So excited. If you want to watch the full-length reaction to this episode, it will be available on my Patreon, as well as full-length episodes to other shows that I am watching. Currently, The Expanse. Soon, Firefly. There will be a poll on my Patreon as well to figure out what we're going to do about replacing The Expanse, because I don't know if I want something new completely out of space completely. I know Firefly takes place in space, but if we also want to add like maybe Doctor Who, me and Xander have chatted about it a little bit. We're thinking that the David Tennant seasons are the ones to start with, mostly because I have a crush on David Tennant. But I've never watched any Doctor Who except for like 3 episodes of the one with Jodie Whittaker, and I don't really remember anything other than she had great suspenders, and I might have cried. I don't know. It was so long ago. But I figure we can jump into something new, fresh, and exciting. But if you guys have any suggestions of anything that you'd like for me to watch, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, and like I said, in the comments, tell me other stuff that I should be watching that you think that I would enjoy. But also, do you think that you could do this? Do you think that you could be on the severed floor? I would be a Helly. I am at every personality quiz I've ever taken. It's an outlier. It's like I'm a rebel. If you tell me your hair looks so beautiful long, I'll be like, I'm gonna cut it off short, simply because I don't ever just do what I'm told. I always go off of instinct and instinct alone most of the time, which gets me into trouble a lot, but here we are. And also like do you think that you could lead 2 different lives? I think it would drive me crazy because I love to sleep, and the part of me that would never get to sleep would go insane. Like just the insanity of not getting the refreshing, relaxing part of sleep. And I feel like most of the people that are severed probably don't get that anyway. It's heartbreaking. But do you guys think you could do it? I don't think I could do it. I think I'd lose my mind. I think I'd be a helly. I'd be trying every which way I can to get a message out to get me off of this floor. But like I said, I feel like the only way that you get taken off is by doing something or having something happen in your regular life. Like you die, you get pregnant, you have cancer, you get into a car accident and lose an arm. Like I feel like those are things in like which you don't get to go back to the severed floor because it would disrupt the peace of the floor itself. So I'm really worried about Carol D. But I feel like that's also Petey's best friend, because when Mark said, "You're my best friend," and Petey said, "You're my good friend," I feel like he had a best friend that like created this chain reaction, at least in my mind. I don't know. Okay, guys. With that being said, I cannot wait for the next couple episodes. I might also be starting Ted Lasso. Me and Xander have a lot to talk about. So, like I said, leave suggestions down below, and we'll figure something out for the future. There will be a poll on Patreon before there will be on YouTube, and then YouTube will get a say on other stuff. But in the meantime, guys, I'll see ya.